Welcome to Bovita Unboxed Live. I am your guest host, Sisters in Smoke, and today we have Casa 1910. Today we're going to be talking about how being a master Habano sommelier plays a part in the flavor profile of this Mexican puro, Mexican tobacco culture, and how Mexican tobacco has come back to claim their rightful and respectful place in this industry. Afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello, Serge. Hello, Jamie. Hello, Santiago.
How you doing? Good to see you.
How are you guys doing in Mexico City today?
Good. It's a warm day, and we're enjoying the time off from the office, being able to smoke a cigar with you guys.
And a good cigar it is.
Ooh.
Let's just get into this packaging really quickly, guys. Talk to me about the color that you guys chose for this box. Because listen, anytime I walk into a humidor, you cannot miss this, okay?
That is precisely what we decided to go for. But the story behind it is actually a little bit different. Initially, we wanted to use the colors of the Mexican flag, which is white, red, and green. However, legally, you're not allowed to use the same exact colors of the Mexican flag. So you'll see we have the component of white, we have the green, which is on the certificate.
Correct.
And instead of doing it red, we decided to go for this punchy orange, which has created a lot of noise for us. It pops out, it's very recognizable.
Yeah.
And I think it's fair to say it almost feels like a box of chocolates when you have it in your hand. Like the packaging, I feel like is very well executed.
I agree. It is very, very, very well executed. So listen, Serge and Jamie, how did you guys get into the tobacco industry?
So this all started a little under 2 years ago, where this community, which I founded, which is called the Swiss Community Mexico, and it's a non-profit organization that has to serve as a networking platform for Swiss individuals living in Mexico and Mexican individuals wanting to do business with the Swiss conglomerates here. Me being Swiss, I only thought it would be fitting, and there's over 6,000 people, as Swiss people living here in Mexico, so that's sort of the idea behind why I started the community. Now, what I wanted to change about these traditional networking platforms, and typically they are quite boring, I wanted to spice them up and create more fun events for the consumers, and one of them a little under 2 years ago was a cigar tasting night where we had invited Manolo Santiago sitting right here next to me and to give us a talk about Mexican cigars, the history, the future, what's in the market currently and the industry as a whole. And that's really where the idea was born. So after the event, Manolo and me, we sat together for approximately 2 hours. We had a deep dive into the whole cigar industry and the what is what and the who is who. And he, being like a industry veteran, let's say, over the past several years, has always had in the back of his mind an idea to create his own brand. So we thought it was only fitting to merge forces. Then shortly after, we brought Serge Bollag on board as well, who was the further co-founder of Casa 1910. And originally, it was actually quite funny. We wanted to make a cigar for this particular place in the mountain area in Graubünden of Switzerland, where we typically go skiing. And we wanted to make a special edition for that resort because we were relatively well connected there. And there's one restaurant in particular, which was our favorite, where we wanted to position ourselves. But then we realized, it's not as easy as just rolling it, and exporting it. There's a whole lot in between. So we thought, if we're going to do something, we're going to do it big, and we're going to disrupt the industry. And we really want to become the most respected premium cigar brand from Mexico.
Wow. And, do any of you besides Santiago have experience in the tobacco industry?
I mean, I shouldn't really be saying this, but I used to be a cigarette smoker. And thanks to cigars, I actually stopped. And it has had me a lot to stop smoking cigarettes. And I find myself smoking or having smoked perhaps one cigar every so often. But with Manolo and his way of explaining things and his knowledge of the industry, that's when my passion really started to develop for cigars, and really everything from seed to smoke, the whole process, the marketing angle, and everything else revolving the industry, which to me was personally fascinating, and I really developed a deep bond and understanding of it.
Very well. And since Serge has jump started the Smoke Fest, okay, we are going to get into the cigar. And listen, Santiago, walk as we're gonna cut and like this the blend. Can you walk us through the blend, the aroma, what we're gonna get in the first third? Talk to us about the tasting profile.
Before we get into that, can I just add two things which might be interesting for the people that are interested in history?
Mm-hmm.
But Casa 1910 marks the beginning of the Mexican Revolution, and we're here to revolutionize the Mexican cigar industry. So that's a bit of the reason behind why we decided to call our name, our brand, 1910. And the first line which we're releasing is called Cuchillo Parado. It's a Robusto format cigar, and it's called Cuchillo Parado because that's the town in the north of Mexico where the first battle of the revolution was fought. It translates directly to lifted knife, and so we thought this is probably one of the coolest names to have a box with the English translation being 10 lifted knives with that cultural relevance. So that's a bit behind why we decided to brand ourselves the way we did.
So, the profile about the Cuchillo Parado cigar, it's very interesting. It's much better in Spanish for me, but I'm trying. Okay. Well, on the first puffs of this cigar, you will something so subtle, gentle, like a herbaceous profile. It's very interesting. It's all different about the other Mexican cigar with other profiles. All very interesting cigars, but in this Cuchillo Parado, maybe you can find wood, light, very light, strong for the first third of the cigar. But you will find to each puff you take the experience, it grows, you know. It awakens aromas, flavors, complexity, and just to need to serve tequila añejo, you know, or black tea or coffee, large coffee and other stuff. It's very creamy. It's very soft for all people in the beginning. It's very grateful smoke this cigar.
Talking about the tequila, I think it's time to have a little toast and dig into this añejo.
Wait a minute.
Where's
Cheers,
yours?
I don't have tequila. I only have,
So
I
sorry.
have coffee.
You're 2 hours behind us, so you're excused.
Okay. So Santiago,
Sure.
how does being a master Baños sommelier, first of all, what is that for all of us watching? Is this the most highest Cuban tobacco accolade that you can have? And how do you get it?
Okay. First one, the all cigar sommeliers on the all the Habano sommeliers is not just the title. It's just about the smoke it, the enjoy the tobacco for all countries, for all terroirs, for all types. It's very important. Well, about the master Habano sommelier, you have to willing to learn, you know, to invite with along the way, starting with the junior certificate about the Habano sommelier. The first step is a junior Habano sommelier. The second step, it's a senior Habano sommelier, and the last step, it's a master Habano sommelier. But don't stop here, you know. And you have to go to every part of the world where tobacco is produced. It's not Cuba. It's not only Cuba. It's for Dominican Republic. It's for Nicaragua. It's visit Veracruz in Mexico, Honduras, Ecuador, Brazil, and other strange terroirs. And to end up with your hands full of tobacco oil, because it's very beautiful to smoke and talk, you know, but to know what the farmer lives and suffer, the one who takes care for the tobacco in the curado process, how they are exposed and more. That it's a detail of beginning a master Habano sommelier. Know the vegueros, know the rollers, know all the people around the tobacco. And not only to say it, but to be it.
Sure.
And of course, to love tobacco, no matter it's what the origin is.
And so, how does your experience in all of these countries, and how does it relate to the Casa 1910 blend? You know, there are a lot of cigars that kind of promote their brand, you know, Cuban seed this and Cuban seed that. And for you, I feel like people will take it up a notch, because here's this guy who is a master Cuban sommelier, and he's blending cigars. Is this Mexican puro? Is it going to come off like a Cuban? Was that the goal? And how does your experience play a part in this blend?
Okay, well, my experience, it's all tobacco. I'm a Mexican. I'm a love in Mexico. I'm from the tequila, the tequila land from Jalisco. Actually, it's a perfect pairing with this cigar, the Cuchillo Parado. But this is other story. At the beginning in my journey for the tobacco, I know the Cuban cigars, the Habanos. I love the Cuban cigars and Habanos, but I'm love to senses of my mouth. I love to the senses of the aromas and the flavors in the market. I take a lot of peppermint, taking my mouth for 2 grains, and experimented these sensations, the feeling, the aromas, the all experience. I traveled to Nicaragua and discover Steli and discover other terroirs for the tobacco. It's very interesting. The people, the farmers, it's all Cubans, but in Nicaragua. In Mexico, it's something different. But the love of tobacco is the same for all places. Okay, and I know to these crazy guys and make this project, in the result it's here, the Cuchillo Parado from Casa 1910. I'm looking to the experience. I'm looking to the good sensations for the mouth. I'm looking for the good pairing with tequila. We're looking for Mexico exposure to the all countries, all people, all cigar lovers.
So Casa 1910 is a Robusto 5x50, correct?
Yeah.
And so what is the blend? What's the wrapper, the binder, and the filler?
Well, the blend of Casa 1910 Cuchillo Parado.
Cuchillo Parado.
Cuchillo
Wait,
Parado.
I'm gonna roll this right. Say it again. I'm gonna get it right.
Cuchillo
Cuchillo
Parado.
Parado.
That's right.
That's right.
Listen, say that 5 times.
That's lift the knife. So I think
Okay.
the story that goes behind also the name and the brand, it's something to dive into a little bit. But Manolo, honestly, apart from being a master Habano sommelier and being a real master of the arts in tobacco, also knows a lot about premium spirits. Spent time in Scotland studying whiskey. Of course, he's from Guadalajara, the land of tequila and mariachis, so he knows a lot about tequila.
Yeah.
But what we're trying to do with the brand overall is exposing not only the Mexican tobacco and how good a Mexican puro can be, but also showcasing to the world all sorts of aspects of
the Mexican heritage.
Exactly, the Mexican heritage. So
correct.
What Manolo also finds very interesting is that in a lot of Mexican cuisine, right, you use a lot of lime or lemon, which in theory doesn't go very well with cigars. So we're trying to experience more with different type of fat and fishes, meats. That's something that can be fantastic pairings. So one of the people that has been helping us out since the beginning and a good friend is, for example, Lucho Martinez, where we had lunch together about 2 weeks ago with Ben. And he's really also pushing the envelope in terms of Mexican contemporary cuisine. And everything we do is really around Mexican heritage. So I think there's many directions we can take this conversation to. I don't know what you would like to talk about.
Well, about the blend.
Yes. Let's circle back around to the blend. It is a Mexican puro. Walk me through the tobaccos used in the blend.
Well, the Cuchillo Parado cigar, it's a careful selection of Negro San Andrés leaves for filler and binder, okay, which we age in packs or pacas for 5 years in the static way, for minimum. And for the wrapper, it's a Sumatra type wrapper, but harvested in Mexico, in San Andrés Valley from Veracruz, which we put away for at last 3 years aged. All rollers used a mixed technique from Nicaragua, Cuba, and Mexico for the hand rolling. Every cigar is a hand rolling. Well, after the rolling, we rest or aging for each puro or each cigar for last 6 or 8 months. In cedar,
in cedar wood,
in cedar wood.
Exactly. And certain, some of our cigars even have up to 1 month of 1 year of aging after being rolled. And what we typically found is at that 6-month mark, it takes away all the acidity, which you find in traditional Mexican cigars, and it makes it a super creamy, smooth smoke. And I think the feedback we received at the PCA show in July of this year mirrored exactly that. People seem to have very much enjoyed our cigar. It's a perfect for certain smokers, morning smoke, for other smokers, maybe an early afternoon smoke. And it's very well balanced too.
Correct. It can absolutely go from morning to clearly afternoon with your tequila.
And I think what's interesting also is that it's very approachable to newcomers. So we're trying to address a younger demographic of smokers, or also occasional smokers that get into premium cigars because of a friend or a family member. And it's not something too aggressive, too much of a punch to the stomach. It's a medium body that anyone can really enjoy, right?
Correct. And so listen, Mexican tobacco isn't necessarily known for getting the industry's respect when it's packaged in Mexican cigars. But the country is a major supplier of tobacco for cigar makers in other countries. How do you hope Casa 1910 will aid in changing the perspective on Mexican tobacco and Mexican puros? And what decisions do you think it'll take?
So there's actually a pretty big reason behind why there's a distorted perception with Mexican tobacco. And that is an import regulation. This import regulation prohibited Mexican producers from importing tobacco from other countries to make blends and exporting it under a Mexican brand. Initially, it was thought to protect the industry, but in fact, it harmed their industry, and it led the producers to which is exporting their highest quality produce for other countries to make blends, which you see in a lot of different cigar brands these days. And the lower quality stuff, they would keep here, but export them in masses to the United States as, let's say, blue-collar cigars. Now, this import regulation has been lifted, and you've seen some movement in the local market with companies such as Te Amo bringing out a more premium line or premium brand, as you know, as Casa, where they now have resorted to importing this tobacco from other countries and making blends. And then there's us coming in, following their footsteps and trying out new things. What was important for us is really to create a cigar, a Mexican puro, to showcase to the world that a Mexican puro has the potential to be a fantastic cigar, which you can smoke on a daily basis. And once we've sort of showcased to the world that we've achieved this by creating the Cuchillo Parado, that's when we'll start bringing out different vitolas, different blends from other countries, and really being sort of an inclusive cigar company, producer, and commercializer from Mexico. And always having sort of attention to detail, branding at the core of our focus. Because at the end of the day, a smoker smokes with three senses. It's the eyes, it's the smell, and it's the taste. And we try to offer that all-inclusive package to our consumers.
Well, congratulations, because I agree on all 3 points. I, too, smoked it at PCA during a couple of the talks. And then I had the opportunity to come to Mexico City to help you guys celebrate your launch. So congratulations on that. Serge, talk to me about the planning for the launch of Casa 1910. Why you chose the Hacienda Ztoluca?
So
Very good.
yeah. So I mean, Julio Uribe, which is the owner of the hacienda, it's a good friend of ours, and he has done a fantastic job with this hacienda. And it's one of the oldest haciendas in the country from the 16th century that he bought a few years ago in ruins and restored it to its prime glory. And I think it's one of the most emblematic haciendas right now in the country. And what it's doing is really a fantastic job. And we chose to participate in the Festival of the Senses, or Festival de los Sentidos, which this year was the third year that this takes place, where he invites luxury consumer brands from Mexico that operate in Mexico. And due to our relationship with Julio, we really wanted to go the extra mile and participate as title sponsor. So there was many activities in the weekend at the Hacienda, from cigar rolling classes, where we have invited our master rollers from Veracruz to teach actually like all sorts of friends and consumers and people who attended the event how to roll a cigar. We had also charro artisans, which nice, yeah, amazing, which were showcasing their handcraftship of actually making this charro suits, or the charro sombreros. And if you're not familiar with charreria, it's basically like, I mean, it's part of the heritage of Mexico, right? It's
very trivial terms. It's a Mexican rodeo.
Okay.
Of course, because the attire was rancho chic, which,
yeah, correct.
which I loved.
And yeah, I mean, really, everything that Julio does with the Hacienda or with other projects that he's involved with, it's about lifting up the name of Mexico and the flag of Mexico around the world, and paying tribute to all the traditions and the heritage that there is in the country. And from like the Veracruz, you know, which has a completely different tradition than Hidalgo, or the other state where the Hacienda is, it is important to us to showcase this in all forms of marketing or brand efforts that we do, such as bringing out the magazine, which we will also position in the select cigar lounges and stores in America, Mexico, and around the world.
So speaking of cigar lounges, really quick, while we have these pictures up here, the first night was the reception night at Casa Prunes. Now listen, okay, this place is sexy. It's beautiful. The bar is fantastic. Mika, who is, if I'm not mistaken, what we would call the mixologist, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
He's one of the best in the country to do it.
He was fantastic. He had the tequila cocktails rolling. The food was decadent. And upstairs in Casa Prunes is the 1910 Cigar Lounge.
Correct.
Guys, it is the Mexican decor. I don't know what the word for that is. It's beautiful. You have the old school chairs with the feet. You have a small humidor with nothing but Casa 1910. And by the way, guys, they are all about Bovada. And
Correct.
and talk to me about how you guys set up a cigar lounge in such a beautiful place.
So the story goes that through a mutual friend of ours, we were introduced to Mika Rousseau, who's one of the top mixologists of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And he, pre-pandemic, actually had invited us over to Casa Prunes, which at that point had little to nothing inside. So the project was just the development phase. And on the top floor of Casa Prune, there used to be former yoga studios. And we had brainstormed for a long time, or especially he has, what it is that he could sort of change about the concept and implement within those rooms. And it immediately occurred to us that a cigar lounge is what we have to do. So then the pandemic hit and the idea sort of died out. And it was only, I think, 3 months ago that he contacted us again. It was the first soft opening, and we were like, okay, we need to make moves now. And that's precisely what we did. Now, it's sort of, the concept speaks exactly for the way we're trying to position ourselves as a brand. Highest quality standards, attention to detail, and disruptive to the market. Now, his core focus is really on the mixology. He also has various other sort of cool things which he's implemented in his whole project, such as purchasing a machine from Japan which produces up to 2 kilos of ice, and they chisel away on them and make your sort of tailored ice cubes and whatnot. You can also infuse that ice with certain ingredients. And the idea for the beginning of next year is to create a tobacco or an ice infused with a tobacco leaf cocktail, which we can offer to our customers. More than anything, I think the lounge serves as more than a fantastic place where you feel comfortable, it's private, it's beautiful, you feel at home, and you get to enjoy your Casa 1910.
What I loved about the setup is that, people always talk about the trifecta, or what I call the trifecta. It's the smoke, the libation, and the eating. And here, especially, we want to smoke and eat at the same time, and obviously we want to drink. But what you guys managed to do is place yourselves right in the middle of the intention. And we did exactly that. We ate beautiful pasta and octopus tostadas, and we smoked. And listen, I almost missed smoking upstairs because I was downstairs indulging in all of the culinary glory at Casa Prunes. But you guys did a really good job at kind of being intentional about where you wanted people's palates to be by the time we get upstairs to smoke your cigar. And so I just want to say congratulations on that, because it's very, very hard to do. But as far as tequila, someone in the questions wants to know if we compare it with mezcal. I know you guys have Añejo is your Mexican tequila choice, but what about mezcal?
Well, I love the mezcal. I love the bacanora. All the spirits from Mexico.
Yeah.
Mezcal, bacanora, and raicilla. But the tequila, it's the most mm, soft flavor with
Mm-hmm.
the aging and other stuff. The type of agave plant, it's a very interesting. The part of the mezcal, it's very hard to pairing with this cigar because the mineral part, because the alcohol and
Mm-hmm.
other things. I have two of three options for
Mm-hmm.
the good pairing with this cigar.
Okay.
But
What are they?
the old people, it's no like or no love with aging in barrels.
Okay.
The people love mezcal. They prefer this spirit all natural. It's very hard to enjoy it in the plate, in the aromas and another experience and
Mm-hmm.
all experience with the cigar. All
Okay.
cigars. It's very complicated to find the perfect pairing with the mezcal. It's much better to separate things for now. In
Mm-hmm.
the future, all it's possible. But the pairings, they there are several types of pairings. And here I was looking for two things.
Mm-hmm.
I was born to the land of tequila. I drink, I love, and the tobacco Veracruz, I love to the tobacco Veracruz, from Veracruz. I wanted to do something to pay tribute to both products, to both lands, the
Nice.
tequila Jalisco and the San Andrés Valley from Veracruz.
Okay.
Okay, and so I managed to have the two products together. An aspiring approach. This is means when two products come from similar terroirs or areas or countries,
Mm-hmm.
it's most simple. It's most easy. Here's we had two things: the reproach and the flavor contrast to the bitter sweetness for this cigar with the sweetness of the tequila. It's amazing. It's great. It's love in your mouth, you know?
Right. So Val Chavez has a follow-up question. So as far as the mezcal is concerned, is it too strong for the cigar? Is it overpowering?
It's too strong for this cigar.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha.
Maybe with other type of tobaccos or other type of profiles with smoke, more animal, and more torfacts,
Not sure what the
uh, type
translation is of it.
toasted, more
Yes. Okay.
toasted, more
Okay.
toasted tobacco. With mezcal, it's much better. But
Gotcha.
this cigar, this profile of this cigar, it's more woods,
Okay.
creamy, sweetness, like tequila. It's more
Gotcha.
soft for everyone.
That's good to know. I mean, some people believe that tequila is tequila, and I absolutely learned very quickly that it is not created equal. Because we had añejo at the hacienda, and then I had, let me see, because I came back with tequila. Okay, so
I mean,
you
what's
tell
very
me.
interesting when Manolo does pairings at our cigar lounge and we invite friends or cigar smokers that are interested in learning more about pairings is that Manolo actually pairs the Cuchillo Parado cigar for the first, second, and third with different types of tequila. So in the first third, it's usually like blanco, no?
Well, the blanco or white or silver tequila, it's more like before
Before
the
smoke,
smoke.
yeah.
Before you
On
smoke.
the, like aperitif. Yeah,
Comparative.
aperitif. It's a silver tequila, but
Okay.
the first part of this tobacco, I prefer the reposado tequila. The second, third, with the añejo tequila. On the last part for this cigar, I prefer the extrañejo tequila.
So while the
more
strength-
complexity for the cigar, most complex for the tequila.
Guys, you're going to have a Lux experience with the Casa 1910. Okay, we have 3 tequilas we must indulge in before we get to the end of this Robusto.
Yeah, no, but honestly, tequila is the spirit Manolo had in mind when he created the Cuchillo Parado, the cigar. But we have done a lot of experimenting. So, for example, in Barra Mexico, which is the largest trade show and fair in Mexico for premium spirits, we actually had
in Latin America.
And Latin America, we had a partnership with Torres Brandy, and actually brandy is a fantastic pairing to the cigar as well. We figured out. So
Very nice.
There's a lot of experimenting that we've done over the last couple of months.
I love the experiments.
Well, speaking of experimenting, guys, here is my ash. I want you guys to see that. That's beautiful. In America, we call that stacking like dimes. And so from start to finish, how long does it take, or did it take you? How many blends did it take to achieve the Casa 1910?
Well, it's very hard to say. I have many fails. In the factory, I try with a lot of mixes or blends, a lot of formats for types, for tobacco, different ages of tobacco, different wrappers, different sizes, and more. And we have for the last part 5, the best 5.
The best 5. Okay.
We tried everyone, and with the master roller, with the factory, with the Serge, with the Jamie, and it's like a console.
Yes.
Like a console. And we find one, Serge find one, Jamie find one, and I. And the winner is this, the Cuchillo Parado.
Nice.
And especially the 6 months aging after it's been rolled, that I feel like really makes the difference for us.
Yeah, that's what people really sometimes don't understand, how much aging after being rolled really changes the cigar. So we had all these different blends, and then 3 weeks after the roll, Manolo's like, okay, this one actually changed better than the other one. 1 month after, and before we bring the cigars to market, a thing that we always want to keep is that we give them multiple months of aging after being rolled. And the one you're smoking right now, I think it's Lote Diciembre 2020, so it's it's a year old after, a year of aging after being rolled on top of the 5 years aged tobacco. So that really changes the profile of the cigar.
In a few words, I actually go through here like a Thomas Alva Edison. Let's just say I learned 100 different ways on how not to make a cigar.
Top 3 ways on how not to make a cigar.
Yeah.
Give me 3.
Tres maneras como no hacer un puro.
I'll start with one: smoking right after they rolled it, which you typically find at weddings. Big no.
No.
You have to when you're creating the cigar, but there's a lot of misconceptions still about this, especially in even weddings of important people, where they roll cigars and serve them to people straight after being rolled. And the whole point is the aging.
Yeah, we have a many aspects to find the one. I don't think about my personal way.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer think about how think Jamie about the cigar, how Serge think about the cigar, how many people about the cigar, the pairing, the altitude, it's at the city, it's on the beach, it's on the Switzerland, it's on the Mexico, all things in the first time for rolling. On the week after, on the 2 weeks after, on the months after, it's many hard to be here in with this cigar Cuchillo Parado.
Very nice. So listen, I have two more questions. One is, so listen, in a poll on Cigar Aficionado, 51% of people name Dominican cigars as their favorite. 19% Cuban, 14% Honduran, 12% Nicaragua, and Mexico received 1%. How do you see your brand moving that needle from 1 to 5 to 15?
I mean, if I may answer that question,
Of
there's
course.
only 1% of Mexican cigars imported in the US, so it's actually in line with like imports. But apart from that, as Jamie as well mentioned before, given that Mexico was restricted to create blends, the best quality tobacco from Mexico actually was used in Nicaraguan and Dominican cigars, right? Now that this export regulation was lifted, only a few players have started creating great blends from Mexico, and we want to follow suit in that. And I really believe that a lot of people in America are familiar with Negro San Andrés, San Andrés wrapper, or even in the latest, for example, Davidoff Chef's Edition, they used Mexican tobacco in the blend, and they actually had a Mexican chef on the panel.
Yes, they do.
We're really trying to jump on that bandwagon together with Manolo, with a great team of experts in their own field, whether it be Mika in mixology, Lucho Martinez in the culinary field, and a lot of friends like Julio from the Hacienda helping us out. We're trying to change the perception of Mexican cigars, and on top of that, really like showcase to the world what Mexican heritage and culture is. So people from all over the world can actually know more about tequila, haciendas, charreria, Mexican food, Mexican mixology, and all.
So that's really where Mexico does not lag behind in terms of artisanally produced goods, culture, the history. And all of this is a part of Casa 1910, right? You want to showcase to the world what it means to produce good tobacco, what it means to produce other artisanal goods. And I'll show you a few of the things which we've actually created. There's a bit of ash inside, apologies about that. But these are ashtrays from Puebla, hand painted. They're made from Talavera.
That's beautiful.
And those are available as of now in the market. And we also have another type of ashtray. This is a bit more rustical, but this is made with a horseshoe and wood. It's all handmade, everything which you see in front of us.
Nice.
And finally, in terms of accessories, and I have to switch sides now real quick. But this shirt which I'm wearing right now is actually a shirt which we produced here in Mexico as your 3 cigar holders. It's made of linen, and it's just another one of our products which we're slowly but surely trying to sort of elaborate and evolve into a lifestyle brand, which is ultimately what we want to be known for.
Now, wait a minute, Jamie. Listen.
That the cigars are good. That's basically like been already like told to us by many people at the PCA, and everybody who smoked them can agree that it's a great cigar. But I think as a new generation in the cigar industry, we have to go the extra mile. It's not only about the good blend, the good cigar, but it's about the packaging, it's about the lifestyle, it's about involving chefs, mixologists, people who really
the Mexican charros,
everybody who's really part of the Mexican culture right now. That's what we want to be known for and embody, and what we're trying to push around the world.
Yeah, fantastic. And listen, guys, where can the universe find Casa 1910 in the future?
So we're actually in the midst of our exportation process, which will hopefully go out next Monday. It has been a very tedious one. There's a lot of bureaucracy involved here in Mexico in these processes, especially when it revolves around tobacco. But we very much hope that before Christmas, you will find our cigars in Texas, in Florida, and please follow our social media accounts as we will be releasing our points of sales as we go along.
And will you guys be at TPE or PCA in 2022?
Find us at all the shows. We'll be at the TPE, PCA, Intertabac, and we're going to be the guys with the extra añejo tequila ready.
So if you want to have a tequila and a cigar at 10 a.m., that's going to be our booth.
And maybe some prizes.
Yeah, we're working on some other surprises as well.
Listen, all the surprises. And listen, Jamie, bring that shirt with you in a size medium for me.
They were actually supposed to be ready for our launch event, but as it is, luck wasn't on our side. We will bring them to the next trade shows for sure, and we'll make sure that you'll get one.
Anisha, real quick, what was your favorite part of the launch event? Because I haven't had a chance to ask you after your return to the US.
Oh, listen, you know what? When I went upstairs it was up top on the hacienda, and there's an overlook. I don't know if it's a cactus farm or I don't know what it was, but the view from the roof with the cacti and the sun right before the sunset, I literally felt like I could see for miles. It was one of the top 3 best views I've ever seen. It was beautiful.
From there you can see the volcanoes, and there's a very famous story, but we'll dive into that maybe another time. But it's a very famous pre-Hispanic story about there's one active and there's one dead volcano you can see from the hacienda.
It was beautiful. And, you know, I think when people decide to throw events and parties and launches, that sometimes the ambiance of where that event takes place flies under the radar. And you guys did a very good job at placing your celebration in a place that had a view that allowed people to dream about what's possible. And thank you for that. So it was a toss-up between that and the food, because I'm telling you, I probably missed a lot of things because I was too busy stuffing my face with all the cuisine. Absolutely.
And also for all the viewers watching, next year we're going to be doing the same thing, only bigger and better. And we'll keep you guys posted, but it would be great to have perhaps also some more customers and aficionados of Casa 1910 be present at this event, which will take place at the same day next year.
We'll be looking forward to it. Thank you, guys. Thank you to the team of Casa 1910. You can find them on Instagram at Casa 1910MX. Stay tuned for all the beautiful things. They will be at TPE this year with the music, the tequila, the cigars, the gifts. Bring those ashtrays. It's been wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We hope to see you soon, and take care.
See you soon.
Hopefully see you soon south of the border again.